नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या डिमांड नंतर आपण आपली इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच इंग्लिशमध्ये सुरू करत आहोत. ही इंग्लिशमधील बॅच मी जवळपास सर्वच्या सर्व लक्ष्मीकांत कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. ही इंग्लिश मीडियममधल्या बॅचची तुम्हाला एक नोट्ससुद्धा मिळेल आणि यासोबतच तुम्हाला या बॅचचे सर्वच्या सर्व व्हिडिओज, आपलं जे ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा लाल कलरचा लोगो असणारा ॲप आहे, या लाल कलरचा लोगो असणाऱ्या ॲपवर तुम्हाला सर्वच्या सर्व बॅच मिळेल. मग या बॅचला ॲक्सेस किती असेल, व्हिडिओज केव्हा अपलोड केले जातील, तुम्ही ते व्हिडिओज किती दिवस पाहू शकता, या सर्व बाबतीतली सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना त्या ॲपवरच त्या ठिकाणी सूचना या सदरामध्ये तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. तर मी तुम्हाला सर्वांना सुचवेल, ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश मीडियममधनं इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच हवी होती, तुम्ही ही बॅच नक्की जॉईन करा. तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा शेअर करा. यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला प्रत्येक कन्सेप्ट सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न तर केला आहेच, मात्र या कन्सेप्टच्या सोबतच त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जो महत्त्वाचा कंटेंट आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जे महत्त्वाचा फॅक्च्युअल डेटा आहे, जो तुमच्या परीक्षेसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त असतो, हा सर्वच्या सर्व डेटा सुद्धा मी त्या ठिकाणी देण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो तुम्हाला सर्वांना विनंती की बॅच शेअर करा आणि जॉईन करा. थँक्यू. हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम यू ऑल टू ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी पुणे. नाउ the next topic, or I would say the next most important topic in the subject of Indian polity is parliamentary system. Here remember two important things. We are not going to study the topic our parliament. No, that will be a completely separate different topic we are going to cover afterwards. Today we are going to study the topic which is parliamentary system. It means it is a kind of comparison between parliamentary system and presidential system. Why we opted for parliamentary system? What are the important features of parliamentary system? What are the merits of parliamentary system? And basically, what do you understand by parliamentary system will be our main focus. So let's start with this particular topic on parliamentary system. Before moving forward, the most important thing which I want to tell you is, in India, we have parliamentary democracy. As while studying the features of the constitution, we studied democracies are various types. In that, representative democracy, direct democracy, indirect democracy, then there is parliamentary democracy, then there is presidential democracy. These various kinds of democracies are there. So today we are going to study these parliamentary democracy. What are the important features of parliamentary democracy shall be the main focus of our today's lecture. So let's move forward about parliamentary system. Now, before moving forward, I just want to explain you what do we mean by parliamentary system, so that I can explain you everything in detail, in simple terms. See, now this is blank chart. I will explain you what is parliamentary system. Before moving forward, first thing, what do you mean by parliament? Here remember, what is parliament? Parliament is nothing but legislature for India. Legislature. Now, before moving again forward for legislature, I want to give you another important thing. You must have heard a word, that word is government, right? Have you heard the word government? In Hindi, which is called as Sarkar, or in Marathi also it is called as Sarkar. Government. What do you understand by government? Can anybody tell me what do you understand by government? I know you have variety of impressions about government. You have various names, you have various ideas, you have various pictures in your mind about government. Tahsildar is government. IAS is government, right? Then what about members of parliament? What about ministers? Who are the government? Here, one important thing. The word government can be defined in two ways. Word government can be defined in two ways. One is narrow definition of government. One is narrow definition of government. Second is broad definition of government. Broad. Or I would say second is wider definition of government. Wider. Now, before moving forward, to understand the concept of government in a very easy manner, you should know that government has three important components. One is legislature, second is executive, and third one is judiciary. So these three are the most important organs that we many times have confusion about who is government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. Now, what is the most important function of legislature? Its most important function is law making. To make laws. To make laws for internal affairs, to make laws for financial administration, to make laws for defense purpose, to make laws for socially downtrodden section. making of laws is the most important function of legislature. Now, what is the picture of legislature in front of you? How? Legislature in simple terms is parliament in the center and state assemblies in the state. That is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in the center and state legislative assembly and state legislative council in the state. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha as well as Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad are part of the legislature. So whenever the word parliament comes or whenever the word state assembly comes or whenever Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad word comes, you have to keep in mind that the most important function of these four organs is to make laws. Law making is the most important function. And second important organ is executive. What is the function of executive? To implement the laws made by legislature. So, implementation is the most important function of executive. Implementation, making of a law and implementation of a law are two different things. Legislature makes a law. Executive implements that law. So, these two are the important organs with these two important functions. One goes for law making, second goes for implementation of that law. Law making and implementation of law. Then what thing comes in front of your mind when you think of executive? So, in broader sense, executive composed of Prime Minister plus Council of Minister as well as Chief Minister plus Council of Minister. Now, here a very important thing might have came to your mind. You are thinking that what is the function of Prime Minister? If we ask any layman, what is the function of Prime Minister? They might say you, they visit various countries, they carry out various schemes. So, these are not the important functions. So, whenever the word Prime Minister or executive comes, you have to keep in mind the most important function is implementation of the laws. Implementation of the laws. So, here remember, legislature, it makes laws. Executive, it implements the laws. Making of laws is the function of legislature, whereas implementation of those laws is the function of executive. Now comes third important point, that is judiciary. Judiciary, you might have heard those words, Supreme Court, High Court, judges, lawyers. So they are part of judiciary. Then what is the function of judiciary? Judiciary's main function is to check whether people are working within the rules and regulations or not. Checking, evaluation, review is the function of judiciary. Judiciary examines whether the legislature is making laws within the ambit of the constitution or not. Whether parliament is working within the scope of constitution or not. Whether while implementing these laws, Prime Minister and Council of Minister and Chief Minister and Council of Minister are using their powers within the scope of constitution, within the scope of law and within the scope of rationality or not. And in any case, if judiciary finds that legislature and executive are misusing their powers, in that case, judiciary will definitely declare their act as a null and void. And judiciary will cancel their actions as illegal and will ask them to stop their actions. So this is the most important function of judiciary. Judiciary acts for checks and balances. Judiciary goes for checks and balances. So these are the three organs of the government. Legislature to make laws, executive to implement the laws, and judiciary to check the functioning of legislature and executive. These are the important things. Now coming to the definition of government, then who is the government? Now when we use the word government in narrow sense, then the narrow definition of government includes only executive. The narrow definition of government includes only executive. Prime Minister and Council of Minister and Chief Minister and Council of Minister are executive in narrow sense. But when we go for broader definition of government, the broad or wider definition of government includes all three organs. It includes all three organs. Clear? So here one important thing which I want to make a very clear is, whenever we go for a definition of government, the word government can be defined in two ways. One is narrow definition of government, second is broader definition of government. In narrow definition of government, it involves executives only, whereas broader definition of government includes legislature, executive and judiciary. It means when we use a word government has failed in our day-to-day life, it means legislature, executive and judiciary, they all together have not failed. In our day-to-day life, when we use the word government has failed, it means Prime Minister and Council of Minister and legislature and Chief Minister and Council of Minister, these four organs have failed. Clear? So these four organs have failed. This is the one important thing. So whenever we try to define these things, you have to keep in mind that narrow definition of government involves executive only, or day-to-day definition of government involves executive only, not legislature and judiciary. But when we use a word government in a broader sense, that government is not working for us in a very proper manner and there is failure of government for the people of India, it means somewhere legislature has failed to make proper laws, executives have failed to implement those laws and judiciary have failed to keep a check on legislature and executive. Clear this idea? So the word government can be defined in two ways. One is narrow definition of government, second is broader definition of government. Now coming to the previous part. Now parliament, clear. We were studying parliament. What is parliament? Parliament is legislature. Then what is the function of legislature? Its main function is to make laws. Law making is the main function of legislature. Now here we'll try to understand what this parliament is composed of. But just a simple thing is there, but I expect every one of you to understand this concept in a very neat manner. Right. Now let's move forward. Right. Now see, we'll try to understand what this parliament is composed of in India. Parliament. Here remember, parliament is legislature of India. This parliament is composed of two houses. One is Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha. One is Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is called as House of People in English. It is called as House of People. Remember all these words. Lok Sabha is called as House of People in English. Rajya Sabha is called as Council of States. Rajya Sabha is called as Council of States. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are part of parliament. Now, the members of Lok Sabha are called as member of parliament, as well as the members of Rajya Sabha are also called as members of parliament. So here one thing is very, very clear. Both members of Lok Sabha as well as members of Rajya Sabha are called as members of parliament. Clear? Now, how the members of Lok Sabha got elected? What is the procedure to elect these members of Lok Sabha? Here remember, members of Lok Sabha are elected by people. Members of Lok Sabha are elected by people. Very, very interesting. It means members of Lok Sabha are elected by people through direct election. Whatever voting you have gone for in Lok Sabha elections is a direct election of Lok Sabha members. Second is Rajya Sabha. How members of Rajya Sabha are elected? Members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly. So remember, this is the basic difference. Members of Lok Sabha are elected directly, whereas members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly. This is simple difference. So here, remember, members of Rajya Sabha are elected by members of legislative assemblies of the various states, plus certain members are nominated by President of India. And the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are called as member of parliament, and they are composed of the elected members from Lok Sabha as well as indirectly elected members of Rajya Sabha. Now Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha togetherly is called as parliament. It is called as parliament. It is called as legislature. Clear? Now what happened? That particular political party who has majority in Lok Sabha will form a government. What is meaning of forming a government? The political party which has majority in Lok Sabha will elect its own prime minister and other ministers from its own cadre from its own political party who are the members in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So the prime minister and council of ministers are also members of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Some are members of Lok Sabha, some are members of Rajya Sabha. So prime minister plus council of minister, they are called as executive. They are called as executive. Clear? Here remember, prime minister and council of ministers are called as executive. Now here a very simple thing you could see. Members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are called as legislature. But when same members are appointed by prime minister as his minister, they become members of executive. It means same person is member of two important organs of government. Same person is member of legislature as well as same person is member of executive also. That's why in parliamentary system there is a dual membership. This word is very, very important. This is the reason why in parliamentary system there is a dual membership is an important concept. Clear? First thing. Now, one important thing that I want to explain you. What is it? Here, suppose this prime minister and council of minister who are elected based on the majority in Lok Sabha. Which political party got to form the government? Only that political party which has more than half members of Lok Sabha get the right to form the government. Or if any political party fails to get more than half of the total strength of Lok Sabha, then a group of political parties come together to form a government. It means that group of political party or that single political party has majority in Lok Sabha or must have majority in the Lok Sabha. It must have majority in the Lok Sabha. It means they have this prime minister and council of minister have majority in the Lok Sabha. What happens if they fails to get this majority in Lok Sabha? If they fails to get the majority in Lok Sabha, in that case they will have to resign. In this case, they will have to resign. It means if a government is formed out of many political parties together and if some political parties removes support given to the government and that government fails to prove their majority, government fails to prove that they have more than half of the total strength of Lok Sabha, in that case that government will have to resign. So this is clear-cut thing that it is a dual membership, first thing, and this prime minister and council of minister are responsible to House of People Lok Sabha. Why? Because they have to prove their majority on the floor of the Lok Sabha. And if they fail to prove that they have majority on the floor of the Lok Sabha, in this case, they will have to resign. It is called as responsibility. It means, here we come to know two important things. First, in this parliamentary system, let us say Prime Minister and Council of Ministers have failed to carry out the duties in a desired manner. They could not carry out the functions given to them. And people are unhappy with them. Even their own political party members are unhappy with them. And their own political party members as well as their group members, they said that we will not support you for no confidence motion. And if the party member as well as other political party member removes the support, in that case, the government of this Prime Minister and Council of Ministers will fail. It means they have to take care that this Lok Sabha must support them for no confidence motion. It means Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are responsible to Lok Sabha. So remember, first important character of parliamentary system, it is responsible government. It is responsible. Clear? It is responsible government. But second thing, tell me, in this case, is it a stable government? No. You might have seen from 1990s onwards that no single party is getting clear-cut majority in Lok Sabha. And that's why in most of the cases after 1990, there are mostly coalition governments. And these coalition governments are unstable because coalition partners are demanding various berths in the cabinet. Coalition partners' demands are not acceptable and it is leading to a kind of clashes and friction between the coalition partners, and which is leading to collapse of the government in India. And this is the reason why, though parliamentary system is a responsible government, it is less stable government. Why? Because whenever they cannot prove majority on floor of the house, they will have to resign. So this is the reason why parliamentary system is more responsible. This is important word. Parliamentary system is more responsible, but it is less stable government. Why? Because this government could fall anytime when the support is removed by members of party or when the support is membered by your coalition partners. Clear? This is very clear thing. So you have to remember these two things. First, members of executives are the members of legislature also. Second, it is more responsible government. Why? Because this Prime Minister and Council of Ministers has to follow. They have to go as per the needs and requirement of the house. So this is second case. But what is important thing over here? Whenever they fail to perform their duties, they will have to prove their majority and the government could be less stable. So remember, parliamentary system has two important characters. It is more responsible, but it is less stable. This is first important character. We will study, I will explain you all these points again in simple terms. Clear? Here remember, parliamentary system is more responsible government and it is less stable government. First point. Now, we will try to understand about American system. We will try to understand US system, USA. Clear? Now see, here you must have gone through this thing. Again, try to understand Lok Sabha, House of People, Rajya Sabha, Council of State. They elect their own Prime Minister and Council of Minister. And it is executive. In India, there is dual membership. Now, let's think about America. I will give you a comparative perspective so that the things are very, very clear to you. First thing, as we have parliament in India, in America, there is Congress. In America, there is Congress. Legislature in India is called as parliament. Legislature in America is called as Congress. Like Indian parliament is composed of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, same American Congress is composed of two houses. One is House of Representatives plus second is Senate. As we have Lok Sabha in India, America has House of Representatives. As we have Rajya Sabha in India, America has Senate in their Congress. Plus they have three members from District of Columbia. This is simple thing that we will see later on. District of Columbia, right? So 3 members from District of Columbia. I will take this later on. Senate plus 3 members of District of Columbia. Now here see, the members of House of Representatives are elected by people among themselves. People among themselves, right? These are 435 members. Then members of Senate are again elected by people. These are again 100 members. So what is the total strength of Congress? 435 of House of Representatives, 3 members of District of Columbia and 100 members of Senate. So total strength of American Congress is 538. Total strength of American Congress is 538. This is simple thing. Now, the members of House of Representatives and the members of Senate will not be the part of American President's executive like India. Or as we have seen in case of India, the members of Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers are amongst Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It is not the case in America. In America, President has the right to choose his own ministers without any restriction. First, we will try to understand how American president is elected. Clear? I'll just give you comparison over here. Now see, in case of American system, American president is elected by a system which is called as collegium system. Remember this word, American president is elected by a system which is called as collegium system. Clear? Now what happens in case of this collegium system? In collegium system, American people choose 435 another members plus 100 another members plus 3 another members. This 538 people forms collegium for American president. Collegium. There is only single line function for this collegium to elect American president. Elect US president. Once US president is elected, this collegium is abolished. It means unlike India, American president is not elected amongst the members of legislature. In America, this Congress is legislature. In America, this Congress is legislature, and the members of Congress are not members of president and his council of minister. They are called as secretaries. It means in America, members of legislature are completely separate as compared to members of executive. This is the basic difference. In India, we have dual membership, whereas in case of United States of America, there is no dual membership. In USA, the members of executive are completely separate from the members of legislature. This is very, very interesting thing. Here, American president is elected separately, and once American president is elected by this collegium is abolished. A simple confusion might have come to your mind that are these members of collegium are same like the members of the Congress? No. Members of collegium are completely separate than members of the American Congress. Clear? It means, like in case of India, where Prime Minister and Council of Ministers who have to prove their majority on the floor of the House, it is not the case in USA, where American President is not expected to prove his majority on the floor of American Congress. No. He need not to prove his majority. That's why this American system is called as less responsible. It is called as less responsible. But second thing, American president cannot be removed from his office very easily. The procedure for impeachment of American president is so difficult. It is not so possible. It is not easy to remove American president from the presidentship. That's why American system is more stable. In case of India, what happens? Whenever there is no majority in the hands of Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers, they will have to resign. It is not the case in case of America. It is not the case in case of America. American president need not to prove his majority on the floor of the Congress. So this is the basic difference. Now again I will give you a comparison. American system is less responsible. Why? Because American president need not to prove his majority on floor of the House. Whereas Indian system is more responsible. Why? Indian Prime Minister and Council of Ministers will have to prove their majority on floor of the House. Indian system is less stable. American system is more stable. Clear this basic difference and you get an idea. So just try to remember only this much of the basics. No need to go in details. What are the criteria, how they are elected? We are going to study everything in detail in second part of this Indian polity. But here just try to focus only this smaller part. Now we'll come to what is given in this particular system. So first thing, see, whatever I explain, I will just give you a simple hint about all these things. First thing, the Constitution of India provides for parliamentary system of government. It means whenever question is asked whether we have parliamentary system of government or we have presidential system of government, remember our Constitution clearly says that India should have parliamentary form of government, where in center as well as in state. This should be very, very clear. Like we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers in the center. Same we have Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, Governor, Chief Minister and his Council of Ministers in the state. Clear? So we have these two things in center as well as state. Here clearly remember this thing. Constitution of India provides for parliamentary system of government both in center as well as in the states. Another important bit from examination point of view, remember Article 74 and 75. I will explain you these articles while studying next chapter. No need to go in details of these chapters. Just here remember these numbers. What are the numbers? Article 74 and 75 in the center and Article 163 and 164 in the state is the basis of parliamentary form of government in India. So you could get a question in all MCQ types of examination in your preliminary examination. What is the basis of parliamentary form of government in India in center as well as in state? Here remember Article 74 and 75 in the center and Article 163 and 164 in the state is the basis of parliamentary form of government in India. Democratic governments are of various types, but basically from the form of government, democratic governments are basically of two types. One is parliamentary democracy, second is presidential democracy. Parliamentary democracy can be found in India, England and Japan, whereas presidential democracy can be found in America, France, Russia and Sri Lanka. Just try to remember these names. They won't ask you a question, and after a period of 6 months you will know these names by heart. No need to remember these names. Parliamentary form of government is based on harmonious relationship between legislature and executive. Why harmonious relationship? Because the members of executive are members of legislature also. Clear? The members of executive is members of legislature also, and only the members of legislature who have majority in Lok Sabha shall have the right to form government in the form of executive. That's why members of legislature and executive have the right to form the government. That's why remember the most important character of parliamentary form of government. The parliamentary form of government is based on harmonious relationship between legislature and executive, whereas American form of government is based on complete separation between legislature and executive. Here remember, Indian system is based on harmonious relationship, whereas American system is based on complete separation between legislature and executive. This we have seen. Now, presidential, whatever I told you, just I am going to revise the things over here in theoretical manner. Presidential system of government, what is given over here? It is less responsible, like we have seen in USA or in France. Presidential system is less responsible. Why? President is not responsible to legislature for his act of commission and omission. What is meaning of commission? To commit an act. What is meaning of omission? To not to carry out an act, to avoid carrying out a particular act. So, President is not responsible in any way for his act of commission and omission into the legislature. So, that's why, remember, American system is less responsible, it is more stable. Why? Because President cannot be removed from his office of his party. President cannot be removed from his office of presidentship if his or her party loses majority in the legislature. He continues in the office whether his party has majority in the House of Representatives and Senate or not, which is not the case in India. In India, whenever the political party of Prime Minister and his Council of Minister loses majority in Lok Sabha, Prime Minister and Council of Minister will have to resign, which is not the case in case of America. That's why these two very simple differences between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Presidential form of government is less responsible and more stable. Then what about parliamentary form of government? Parliamentary form of government is more responsible. Now the line I am going to give you over here, you should know this line by heart. This line is very, very important. What is the line? Prime Minister along with his Council of Minister are collectively responsible to legislature for their act of commission and omission. Now this is very important line. Prime Minister and his Council of Minister are collectively responsible to legislature, that is parliament. Second, less stable. Why parliamentary system is less stable? Whenever the political party of Prime Minister and his Council of Minister loses majority, they have to resign. They have to resign from that Prime Ministership and Council of Ministership. Clear? So that's why parliamentary form of government is more responsible, but it is less stable. Here, some important beats. Parliamentary system is also known as Westminster model. Why? Because we have taken parliamentary form of government from United Kingdom, that is Britain, and British Parliament is located on a place, that name of that place is Westminster model. Name of that place is Westminster model. Second, Parliamentary system is also known as cabinet system because cabinet has a very larger influence on the functioning of parliamentary government. That's why it is called as cabinet system. Also, prime minister's influence on the parliamentary government is very profound. You cannot avoid prime minister in all the functioning of parliamentary form of government. That's why it is called as prime ministerial government as well as responsible government. Why responsible? Because prime minister and his council of ministers are collectively responsible to parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. Why Lok Sabha in particular? Because prime minister and his council of ministers have to prove their majority on the floor of Lok Sabha and not on the floor of Rajya Sabha. Clear? So, it is also called as primus inter pares. It means prime minister is also a part of council of minister. He is not different than council of minister, but he is first among all the council of minister. All the ministers who are in line, in those who are in line, the first person standing is prime minister. That's why it is called as prime minister, primus inter pares. It means he is first among equals. It means prime minister is same like all other ministers, but the only thing is he is first among all the equal ministers. That's why it is called as primus inter pares or first among equals. Prime minister is first among all equal council of minister. So, how prime minister is more stronger in parliamentary form of government and which part of the parliamentary form of government gives profound strength and power to prime minister can be studied through three important articles: Article 74, Article 75 and Article 78. We are going to study these articles in detail. This is very interesting topic. But remember, what is the basis of primus inter pares or why prime minister is all powerful? The three important parts, Article 74, Article 75 and Article 78 is the basis of prime minister being a very, very strong person in parliamentary form of government. So, this is the introduction for parliamentary form of government. I hope you have understood this topic, but whatever difficulties you have, please write down your difficulties in comment box of our app, in chat box of our app, as well as you can put your queries in YouTube channel of Jnandeep IAS as well as Jnandeep Academy. We will try to help you as early as possible. So that's all from my side. Keep watching, keep sharing this video. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
स्पर्धा परीक्षेच्या तयारीसाठी महाराष्ट्रातील सर्वोत्तम ऑनलाईन प्लॅटफॉर्म ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी पुणे. महाराष्ट्रातील सर्वोत्कृष्ट शिक्षकांचे व्हिडिओ लेक्चर्स, PDF स्वरूपात नोट्स व प्रश्नपत्रिका उपलब्ध, तेही अगदी माफक फीसमध्ये. बॅच जॉईन करण्यासाठी आजच Google Play Store वरून ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचे ॲप डाउनलोड करा. अधिक माहितीसाठी संपर्क करा 95 11 28 0465.